Have you ever stopped to think about how Netflix can stream a brand new movie to literally millions of people at the exact same time? Or how all those photos you take are just magically there on all your devices? Well, you've come to the right place. Today, we are diving deep into the cloud revolution. And trust me, this is a massive shift that's not just about storing your files. It's about completely rewriting the rules for how businesses operate, create, and even survive. And if you want to understand just how big this is, just look at that number, $1 trillion by 2032. This isn't just some tech trend. It's a fundamental change in the global economy. The companies that are figuring out how to use the cloud are getting a wild competitive advantage. And, well, the ones who don't, they're risking being left behind. The stakes are, no joke, survival in this digital age. So, let's pull back the curtain on this trillion-dollar industry, shall we? We're going to explore how we even got to this point, and maybe more importantly, what it all actually means for you, whether you're running a business, writing code, or you're just curious about the technology that is fundamentally shaping the world around us. To really get why the cloud is such a big deal, we have to rewind the clock. Let's go back to a world of humming server rooms, endlessly blinking lights, and that, very distinct smell of warm electronics. It was a world with totally different rules and some very real limitations. Back then, this was the only way: on-premises infrastructure. Okay, think of it like this. Instead of just plugging into the city's power grid, imagine you had to have your own giant diesel generator chugging away in the basement. You own it, you gotta maintain it, you're responsible for literally everything. Now that gives you total control, sure, but it also means you're on the hook for every single upgrade, every repair, and every panicked 3 a.m. phone call. So let's picture a company, we'll call them Acme Inc., back in, say, 1985. Their IT guy, let's call him Bob, had a pretty straightforward approach to security. You just lock the server room door, right? But Bob's life was a nightmare. If a server in the London office went down, Bob had to physically get on a plane. And every single time the company wanted to grow, Bob had to go hat in hand begging for a massive check just to buy more of those big beige boxes. You can see how this wasn't sustainable. Something had to give. The old way of doing things was just buckling under the pressure of growth. The world was practically crying out for a new idea, a totally new way of thinking about where our technology should live. And the answer was the data center. And look, we're not talking about Bob's server closet anymore. We're talking about massive, football field-sized warehouses just packed to the gills with pure, raw computing power. These are the secret engines driving our digital world. They are the physical foundation of this thing we call the cloud. And this is where it starts to get really interesting. You can literally see the evolution here. With on-prem, you are the king of your own little IT kingdom, but you pay for everything up front. A private cloud is a step up, a bit more sophisticated, but it's still your kingdom to manage. The real game changer, though, the public cloud. You're basically renting a slice of a massive global computer, and here's the kicker. You only pay for what you actually use. All those headaches of managing the physical machines? Yeah. That's suddenly someone else's problem. Of course, it's not always an all-or-nothing choice. A lot of companies use a hybrid cloud. Think of it like a hybrid car. You've got the reliable gas engine for those long road trips, but you can switch over to the electric motor for just zipping around town. It's the same idea. Companies can keep their most sensitive, mission-critical data in their own private fortress, but then use the flexibility and scale of the public cloud for pretty much everything else. And then you've got the don't put all your eggs in one basket strategy, the multi-cloud. I mean, why commit to just one provider when you can play the field, right? This lets companies pick and choose the absolute best services from Google, from Amazon, from Microsoft, you name it. They can create this custom-built IT infrastructure that is perfectly tailored to exactly what they need. So here's the most important takeaway from all this. The cloud is not just a new place to dump your old stuff. It's a completely new way of building things. This term, cloud native, means you're designing your apps to be flexible and scalable and resilient right from the very beginning. It's like the difference between building a house out of bricks versus building it out of Legos. With Legos, you can build whatever you can dream up, and you can change it or add to it anytime you want. This massive shift from a world of physical limits to a world of nearly endless digital possibilities created a really stark choice for businesses everywhere. This wasn't just another tech trend. It was basically an ultimatum: adapt or disappear. I mean, just look at this tale of two companies. In 2004, Blockbuster was a giant with 9,000 physical stores. Okay, now fast forward to today, Blockbuster is, well, it's a museum piece. Netflix, running its entire operation on a global cloud infrastructure, now makes more money in a single quarter than Blockbuster did in its best year ever. One company was built on a model for the past, the other was built for the future. So, what's the secret sauce here? What does the cloud give you? First, it's speed, agility. In the old world, getting a new server could take months of planning and purchasing. In the cloud, it's like flipping a switch. You can spin up 1,000 servers in the time it takes you to make a cup of coffee. That's not just a little improvement, that is a superpower. Second, it unlocks innovation. Let's say you have a crazy new idea for an app that uses AI. In the old days, you'd have to spend a fortune on specialized computers just to see if the idea even works. With the cloud, you can essentially rent a supercomputer for an afternoon. You can experiment, you can fail fast, you can learn, and you can do it all without breaking the bank. The cloud is a playground for new ideas. And third, of course, is the bottom line. The cloud turns technology from this huge, unpredictable capital expense into a simple, predictable operating expense. It really is the difference between buying a house and renting an apartment. You only pay for what you need, when you need it, and you never have to worry about fixing a leaky roof. But the benefits go so far beyond just the IT department. When your data lives in the cloud, it's accessible to your whole team, everywhere. Your sales team in Tokyo can work seamlessly with your marketing team in Toronto in real time. Your engineers can get instant feedback from customers. You see, the cloud doesn't just connect computers, it connects people. So how does a company actually go through this? Let's check back in with our friends at Acme Inc. and see how they navigated this crazy 4-decade-long journey of transformation. Acme's story is really the story of the entire industry in miniature. They started with those messy server closets in the 80s. Then in the 90s, they got smarter and built a centralized data center. In the 2000s, virtualization came along, which let them squeeze way more performance out of their hardware. But the real aha moment came in the 2010s. They were already using some cloud software, but then they got hit with a massive security breach in their own data center. That was the wake-up call. They realized they just couldn't do it all themselves anymore. They went all in on the public cloud, and they have never looked back. A huge part of this modern approach is something called open source. The best way to think about it is like a potluck dinner for software. Instead of one company cooking the entire meal, everybody brings their best dish. So projects like Kubernetes, which was actually started by Google, are now built and improved by a global community of developers. This means faster innovation, more transparency, and the freedom to mix and match the best tools for the job without getting locked into one company's menu. All right, so we've gone all the way from the lonely server closet to the massive global cloud. We've seen how this revolution has completely changed business and created this whole new world of possibilities. So what's the big takeaway here? What's the one core idea you should walk away with? It really all boils down to this simple, timeless trade-off. On one side of the seesaw, you've got cost and centralization. On the other side, you've got performance and distribution. Every single one of these decisions, from Bob's server closet to a complex multi-cloud strategy, is just an attempt to find the perfect balance on that seesaw. And there's no single right answer. There's only the answer that's right for you right now. So here's the bottom line. This isn't just a story about technology. It's a story about change. And whether you're the one leading the charge or you're just trying to keep up, you are part of this story. The digital transformation is happening, with or without you. So the only real question left is, what's your next move?